Aynur Tursunbayeva with guests of the studio cooks dishes of Oriental cuisine. Qazaq Life, Tagam. Hello, friends. A good daughter-in-law is determined by her mood, and the skills of the girl are determined by her dishes, says folk wisdom. Today, our guest is a renowned TV host, journalist, coach, motivator, psychologist, Zhanar Baysemizova. Zhanar, welcome to our show. Thanks, it's a big honor for me. Zhanar Baysemizova, a journalist, psychologist. Favorite dish, lagman, manti. Favorite drink, water. Favorite color, mauve. Favorite designer, Coco Chanel, Kazakhstan Atelier Matluba, Aliya Abdimajid, Oyu, Aida Kaumenova. First, let's say what are we going to cook today. Let's make a Turkish dish, Lulia Kebab. But we're going to give it different shape to cook it faster. Based on your words, you're an excellent cook. I used to think that I cook very well. After marriage, I realized that this is not so. Who convinced you of that? My husband turned out to have other preferences. For his sake, I learned to cook with meat, but without dough. We know a little about your husband from social media. He's Ukrainian, but he has Italian roots, doesn't he? Yes, he does. But if you look, Italians like to eat what we do. They also love meat and dough. If we eat meat with vegetables, only then we will not gain weight. And it's healthier not to drink tea right after eating meat. What if we keep talking while we're cooking? The time goes by. Here are your gloves. This is the time of technology. There is also the equipment that you need, but still not enough time. It seems to me nothing compares to the dough rolled out by hand, or something else cooked by yourself. Sure, because in every cooked dish you put your soul, love, goodwill. I think a woman with her recipes can even improve the health of her entire family. Wow. In fact, a lot of things are in the hands of women. Cooking by saying the right words is a psychological method. Our Kazakhs do not always understand. They ask what to say during cooking. Let's start cooking first. Now I'll take the minced meat and add the eggs. Yes, we said that we would cook Lulia Kebab. What ingredients do we need? I think we'll need rice. We need ground beef and eggs. Whatever I add, whether it's salt or something else, I like to add by eye. Me too. What do I say during cooking? I mean, my husband is a fortunate man. He's successful in his business. Let the house be filled with love and harmony. May my family be healthy. Let them have only good thoughts. It's very good to say so, to say it to yourself. When I stir something, I say, just as I combine these ingredients, so does my family unite. It all depends on your imagination. Next, mix the minced meat well. So you're saying we should talk to everything in the house. With a vacuum cleaner, food and carpet, every living or inanimate being has its radiation. There is the science that studies this phenomenon. It's called radiesthesia. While at home, if you hit some inanimate object, you do not need to swear, as this object emits specific radiation. Therefore, it's better to thank everything that is at home. Do we need to say, thank you, chair? Yes, we do. I say so myself. I mean, thank you, chair, and I love you. It's the first time I've heard that. Even though I'm studying psychology myself, as folk wisdom says, I know 9 things, but I don't know 99. I just think if you hit your leg and it hurts, we have the strength to say thank you to the chair. I used to hit my side when I was washing floors, and I was always angry. We usually get angry and kick everything. Now I stopped doing that. The place where I hit the side, I stroke and say, thank you, forgive me. At first, of course, it looked ridiculous. Maybe there was nobody home and you were doing it because you were bored. No, I'm never bored. Of course you will not be bored if you talk with a chair. Today we're cooking a Turkish dish, Lulia Kebab. For this we need ground beef and eggs. Are we going to add milk? We don't have to add milk because without it, the stuffing is good. How are we going to slice onions? I will cut onions as my mother taught me as a child. How often do you cook at home? Since my husband is always at home now, I can say that almost every day. By some standards, I married late, but I believe that I married at the right time. Before marriage, I worked a lot and didn't cook so often. I was building my career. Here we cut onions. We added salt and onion. Now you need to mix with hands for a few minutes. When stirring, do not forget to say the right words. Yes, that's right. Since most women do not notice that they think when they mix something. And they might think about the past or think about the future. Maybe she's remembering a fight or worries about something. It's all through vibrations, through the mind. Everything is transmitted to the food. What kind of films would you recommend that can help to direct thoughts in the right direction, will help to think only about the good things? Please name 3 movies that you would advise. I used to think I'd be happy when I reached my goals. When I was doing my program, I thought that after its release, there would be no person happier than me. But in fact, I felt like the most miserable in the world. And I was emotionally burned out. Then I watched the movie, The Peaceful Warrior. Thanks to it, I realized that happiness is not the achievement of the goal, but the path along which you go to achieve it. Next, I recommend the film War Room. It's especially recommended to women. This film shows how a woman can save a marriage and what she needs to do to make a family happy. Is the film called War Room? Yes, War Room. I watch a lot of movies, and from them I take a lot of insights. We finished stirring the minced meat. Look, before the stuffing did not stick to the hands, and now After knitting it, it can be given any shape. It took a right consistency. Today we will cook rice as a side dish to Lulia Kebab. The main secret of cooking rice is that in boiling water you pour a little oil. Then your rice will not stick to each other. I didn't know that. Ainur, there is much to learn from you. On the page of the program Tagam and social networks, I saw a recipe for quick cooking naan. My husband liked it. Now I cook according to your recipe without adding yeast. Everyone talks about proper nutrition, that bread is harmful to the body. But I think once a week you need to cook hot naans. I agree with you. It's good to eat hot baursaks with tea and honey at least once a week. After all, it's inherent in us at the genetic level. Therefore, our body from time to time requires meat, dough, baursaks. Therefore, we probably get pleasure from eating baursaks. Let me start frying our cutlets. Our oil is hot. On our market, there are several types of rice. There are barakat, crystal, and others. If you notice using rice barakat, it will not boil. But I prefer our rice, ahmarjan. Barakat is good because it does not boil, but it has no taste. I also recently bought one expensive rice, but it was not tasty. Nothing compares to environmentally friendly domestic product. Do I need to cover the pan with a lid? No need to cover. Cutlets are well fried without losing their shape. The sight alone makes you hungry. One of our poets went to America for a writers' conference. There, at the restaurant, he ordered meat and began to eat it with his hands. People sitting next to him looked at him with disgust, and one of them said, "Don't you hate eating with your hands?" Then he said, "You must be disgusted for eating with a fork that millions of people have used before you. My hand is clean, but I'm not sure about the fork." He was right. We are afraid of microbes, afraid to touch objects in public because of them. But if you look, they're everywhere. Maulana Rumi, a few centuries ago, said that he sees small particles and even sees how they eat. At that time, microbes were not studied by science, and he saw it with his spiritual sight. Therefore, you do not need to avoid microbes because they are everywhere. The most important thing is to give yourself the installation that without them, life is impossible. And normally, there are microbes everywhere. Do I need to use a napkin to absorb excess oil? I think there's no need to. When I cook cutlets, I first fry them and then pour water and leave them to cook. Then it will absorb excess oil itself. Now we're going to cook the rice. We put the rice in warm water for 15 minutes. In boiling water, add a couple of tablespoons of vegetable oil and send the rice there. And this way, the rice will not be cooked. It will retain its shape as in restaurants. I do not know why, but any meat dishes causes appetite, whether they're on the other side of the screen or on the picture. Have you noticed that? That works only with meat dishes. On vegetables, drew doesn't flow. I'm sure many girls will want to try to cook this dish. Definitely try it. This dish is well suited for both adults and children. Since we used minced meat, it's convenient to eat even for older people. Older people find it easier to digest than whole pieces of meat. So how are we going to pour some water? Yes, now we'll fry a little and pour water. Dear Ainur, we added water. Next to the cutlets, I put carrots and tomatoes. They will absorb the excess of oil. Now I want to add basil. How beautiful it is. In general, I like to use different spices and herbs. Now cover the pan with a lid. How many minutes will it cook? About 20 minutes. Within 15-20 minutes, our rice will be ready. As I said, the vegetable oil won't boil our rice. We don't have to worry about that. If you cook with us, then bon appetit to you. Now we're cooking a cutlet and minced meat. Since it's useful to eat vegetables with a meat dish, now we will cut tomatoes and cucumbers. By the way, I would like to say that in tomatoes, it's better to remove their stalk, since all harmful nitrates are contained in it. Today, Zhanar shares her easy and useful recipe for cooking cutlets, Lulia Kebab. Our salad is ready too. It's both beautiful and useful. Yes, and it's good for the body. Food must be digestible. So if you eat heavy food all the time, then the stomach may not cope. Therefore, vegetables and greens must be present at every meal, for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Looking at how Zhanar decorates the dish, you can immediately say that she is a European daughter-in-law. We simply serve a meal without decoration. My husband pays special attention to how the dish is decorated and how it is served, so I tried to match. On the other hand, it enhances our aesthetic taste. Then you eat with pleasure. I have one grandmother who saw in the restaurant beautifully laid bread and said, "It's a pity to eat that bread." Usually when we cook minced meat, we quickly fry it and serve it on the table. Today I received a lot of useful information from Zhanar. It's essential to cook the meat longer, as anything can get into the meat. I always say that it's a pity that the TV screens do not convey the smell that we have here. We recommend you to use basil as it gives an unusual smell to the dish. Our dish is almost ready, isn't it? But I think the future is not far off and there will be technologies that will transmit the smell. Yes, there's nothing surprising. Our rice is ready. We cooked 2 portions, didn't we? Yes, we did. This kebab turned out to be different from other kebabs that we used to cook on our show. It turned out to a dish that is even a pity to eat. At the beginning of the program, Zhanar admitted that she's in the culinary program for the first time. Many people know Zhanar as psychologist and coach. And I know her from the time of the TV program Qazaq Children Abroad. It was my favorite show. Thank you. On her show already then, it felt the quality of the program, and it was clear that Zhanar is far from not needed talks. I think it's good that Zhanar visited our culinary program, showing her skills in cooking, because we got so much useful information. And the dish turned out very beautiful. If you invite me, I will definitely come. Thank you, dear Aynur. It's an honor to be invited to this program. Even on the program Qazaq Children Abroad, I wasn't so worried as today. Let me give you a fork and allow you to assess my dish. Of course, with pleasure. Lulia Kebab turned out very tasty. The cutlet is very soft. Of course, our viewers may think that I'm praising the taste because this is my show and Zhanar is my friend. But it's delicious, really, Zhanar. Thank you. Enjoy your meal. Really tasty. Make sure you try to cook it. Today I made sure that we can cook delicious cutlets without adding bread, without crumbling and flour. We wish you all the best. Let your life be meaningful. Dear Zhanar, thank you for coming today. We will be glad to see you again on our program, cooking such European dishes. Thank you. We will wait for you. Keep decorating the kitchen with your presence. Be happy. Thank you. May all your wishes come true. May everyone be happy and healthy.